All right, this is with the principle all things are the Lord's. Literally all things are the Lord's, even our lives. Our stewardship over our properties, our substances, how well we do with that, will be held accountable for what we do in all things, not just wealth, not just, but home, family, living the gospel. And in Doctrine and Covenants, it says, verse 11, "It is wisdom in me, therefore a commandment I give unto you, that ye shall organize yourselves, and appoint every man his stewardship." And when Christ comes and changes the world and changes us, we're going to have to learn to be stewards under Jesus Christ, and that every man will have a stewardship given to them of Jesus Christ. For all things are his, and we will require an accountability of that stewardship. That every man may give an account unto me of the stewardship which is appointed unto him. So, if you're faithful, you'll be given stewardships, and you'll have to be accountable for that stewardship through the Lord's servants, and that will go back to the Lord. For it is expedient that I, the Lord, should make every man accountable as a steward over earthly blessings which I have made and prepared for my creatures. I, the Lord, stretched out the heavens and built the earth, my very handiwork, and all things therein are mine. Again, all things on this earth are the Lord's. And it is my purpose to provide for my saints, for all things are mine. Again, all things are the Lord's. But it must be done in mine own way, and behold, this is the way I, the Lord, have decreed to provide for my saints, that the poor shall be exalted, and the rich shall be made low. The earth is full, and there is enough to spare. Yea, I have prepared all things, and I have given unto the children of men to be agents unto themselves. Therefore, if any man shall take of the abundance which I have made, and impart not his portion according to the law of my gospel unto the poor and the needy, he shall with the wicked lift up his eyes in hell, being in torment. So, the Lord wants us to be more accountable for the things, the blessings of this world, and to take care of the poor and needy. And in Moses, Enoch talks about that they did away with the poor. They didn't do away with them. I mean, how does he put it? There was no more poor among them. There was no more poor among them. Let's go to that verse. This is in Moses 7, verse 18. It says, "And the Lord called his people Zion, because they were of one heart and one mind, and they dwelt in righteousness, and there was no poor among them." So through righteousness, they overcome the problems of the poor, and the time came when there was just no poor among them. They took care of people and had people gain responsibilities and other skills, and they got rid of the poverty. There was no more poverty or poor among them. That's powerful. It's called City of Holiness, City of Zion. All right. So, it's Moses 7:18. That's where the Lord wants us to head. Now let's go over this section 104 much more carefully. "It is wisdom in me, therefore a commandment I give unto you, that ye shall organize yourselves and appoint every man his stewardship." He's talking to the priesthood brother, and he's talking to the world. He's talking to the future world and future stewardships that we have. In time, everybody will be organized, and everybody will have a stewardship appointed unto them, and they'll be accountable for that stewardship. That's in time. That's not going to all happen at once, but that's where it's headed. This is not socialism. There's a great deal of difference. You have full creativity, you have full responsibility, you have full um, duty to make the most of your responsibilities and your stewardship, meaning you're going to be held accountable for that stewardship. The big difference is you'll be free to create and do and accomplish as much as you want. And where you do greater things and you'll have greater stewardships, greater accountability, greater responsibilities. So everybody will be able to grow in their stewardship according to their diligence, according to their faithfulness, according to their willingness to fulfill that stewardship. And as they fulfill those stewardships, they'll be given other stewardships, and they'll grow in that ability to organize and do things and bless one another and accomplish more and more. The Lord is not idle, and He'll have His rulers increase in rank and authority, and much greater the skills and ability of that individual, the more stewardships and the more things that they'll have accountability for. So it's not like you're just going to stay on the spot and do something. If you're excelling, the Lord will know it, and the Lord will have you increase on that ability and on those stewardships. And you'll grow in that understanding and in that ability to do things. And you'll have joy in those labors, and the Lord will reward you accordingly. Not with acclamations or money or power, but with the Spirit and with joy and with peace and with prosperity. That every man may have an account, give an account unto me. Now that's where we're headed. The time will come when all men, all women, all accountable people from the ages 8 on up will have a stewardship given unto them, and it'll be appointed unto them, and they'll be accountable to the Lord's servants. Everyone, 8 on up. For it is expedient that I, the Lord, should make every man, from age 8 on up, accountable unto Him as stewards over earthly blessings, which I have made and prepared for my creatures, or for you and your family and for all accountable people. I, the Lord, stretched out the heavens and built the earth, my very handiwork, and all things are mine. Again, the Lord will hold us accountable for what we do with our time and our resources and our abilities and our gifts. And it is my purpose to provide for my saints, for all things are mine. So He wants the saints taken care of and other people taken care of. He doesn't want poverty or needs. He wants to take care of those needs. But He wants people to be responsible for what they do and for what they become and for who they are. It must be needs done in mine own way, and behold, this is my way, is the way that I, the Lord, have decreed to provide for my saints, for the poor shall be exalted, and in that the rich are made low. So He's going to humble the rich, and He's going to exalt the poor. For the earth is full, and there's enough therein. So again, He says, for the earth is full, and there is enough and to spare. They have prepared all things. They've given unto the children of men to be agents unto themselves. So He wants us to choose wisely. He wants to grow in our gifts and our abilities and our talents, and be agents over those things and be accountable for those things. So we have great abundance and great things, and we don't import our portion. And according to the law of the gospel, unto the poor and the needy, He shall with the wicked lift up his eyes, being in hell, being in torment, in hell, being in torment. So the Lord will have us be accountable for the gifts and abilities and the stewardships that they have, and we'll be accountable for what we do with those stewardships, for sure. So this shows us that this is not socialism, it is an inspired situation, and it holds people accountable for what they do with their gifts and abilities. So we'll see how all these things work out in the beginning and where they end up going. Because literally everything on this earth that God created is His, and He will have us be accountable to Him and for Him and with Him, and not just be allowed to greedily do things or bribe, embezzle, do all this political incorporation crap that currently exists. No, that's going to be done away. Those things are going to go bye-bye. And He's going to hold people accountable for what they do with their resources, times, gifts, and abilities, and really with their lives and how they live their lives and what they did to fulfill their responsibilities. So, a lot different than socialism, and a lot more powerful because it takes a lot more responsibility to account to servants of the Lord and to be responsible for those activities. Whether we screw up or not, we're still going to be held accountable for what we did or didn't do. And that's the difference. Okay, we're going to let it go here, but there's so much to all this, so much more. But it's important for us to know that this whole earth and everything on it is the Lord's. Yes, He wants us to be accountable and responsible for those things that we have stewardship over. But He also wants us to take care of the poor and the needy, and to be accountable to them for what they're doing or how they're using these resources. So, and how are we helping them? How are we working with them? Are we just letting them fend for themselves? So we have a lot of growth to do, both the rich and those that are, more well-to-do. And it's going to take a real work from go to generation to generation and get these people working and get them doing things that they may have not done in the past. But it is possible to do these things, I'm sure. And we'll grow in our stewardships and our understandings and our responsibilities. But we'll do it in a way that the Lord wants it done, that is more honest, has more integrity, and all these games are being played politically or corporation-wise will go away. And this will eventually end up being created for Judgment Day and created to finish the work of the Father and get all those temple ordinances done and to have those spirits blessed and worked on in ways that they currently cannot express.